Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast, where we celebrate individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. Today's episode is part of a podcast series produced in collaboration with Visit Johnson City and regional partners who are hosting the Outdoor Writers of Association of America, the OWAA's inaugural Field Fest. Today's guests are Alec Castro, Director of Sales and Public Relations for Visit Johnson City, Tennessee, and Allie Bynum, Marketing and Membership Curator for the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. Alec and Allie, welcome to the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast and really the launch of this wonderful podcast series.
Thank you for having us, Howard. We are ready to talk about all of the great things that Johnson City and Northeast Tennessee have to offer and launch this series.
I love that.
Very excited, Howard.
Yeah. And it's funny, when I was in the episode and I was looking at the websites for all the partners, yours, and Ellie's organization, I'm thinking, man, I can't wait to get there. There's so much to do. Right now, I have to say disc golf is the top of my list, but that's only because I had one interview actually before this. But this is the inaugural launch of the podcast series and our first episode. And first off, what was it? What happened? What was that spark that Field Fest kind of became this opportunity to showcase this area of Tennessee? What was that? What was that spark?
Absolutely. What I appreciate so much about the opportunity of hosting this inaugural Field Fest event for OWAA is exactly what the purpose of this project is for, is to allow these association members for the first time to gather in small to mid-sized destinations that often have more robust outdoor opportunities than these larger tier 1 destinations that the association more typically is accustomed to visiting. But also, while they are in the session, developing themselves professionally and connecting, actually immersing themselves into the destination that they're visiting as well. So that's in a nutshell, the ultimate purpose of Field Fest is to bring everyone together, educate them on how to continue to nurture their careers, but then go outside and have fun and gather story content to continue their work afterwards.
Very good. I'm curious too. Alec, you and I met at the OWAA's conference in Gulf Shores last year. Which came first? You went to the conference and you came back and you said, Allie? Or actually, you had to have done it before the conference because it takes a while to plan and get an event like this off the ground. But what came first? I mean, did you learn about the OWAA and you said, Allie, I got this idea? Or Allie, did you say, what do you know about the OWAA? And they could be good for us here.
So it was actually a regional colleague based out of Southwest Virginia who told us about the association.
Okay.
And we have been members of the association for about a year now.
Okay.
And it was very serendipitous. And I think the stars aligned because when we were orienting with Ches Cheswick, the executive director of the association, and learning about how to connect with the association to the furthest we could, the concept of Field Fest was being developed and considered by the current board of directors. So Ches and I started conversations right when the board was about to launch the search for their inaugural destination. Okay. So Johnson City did go through the formal process of building a proposal of our story and what type of experience we could support for this project. And honestly, I was shocked that our organization was chosen to host the inaugural. We were new players and we're quite smaller players in the outdoor industry. And so to have this honor to showcase Johnson City and the greater South Central Appalachian region, it was a dream come true, really. We're at a point in our growth that an opportunity like this allows us to continue expanding our communications work, specifically in the outdoor industry. So it is the time and place to have the association with us.
Fantastic. Allie, anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when Alec first started talking about the OWAA having the field fest here, and he was just beaming with excitement. When it overflowed, as he was talking about it, I became equally as excited to learn of his mission to bring all of our region together and to be the host entity. We're super excited. There's so much, like Alex said, for these partners to come out and experience here in the area. It's really just how far do you want to adventure out? Johnson City is the base camp of adventure in our region, and you can have tons to do right there from the city, or you can go out within an hour and there's just endless opportunities in outdoor recreation.
I love that. And you said something a few minutes ago, Alec, that here we are, this little town in Northeast Tennessee, and where all of the larger annual conference is kind of self-contained in a geographic area. But I think as I heard that, I'm thinking, God, Alec, you just undersold yourself, because collectively you have these partners that have all come together, and that's the opportunity is the sum of all the parts. And
You're absolutely correct. And that ties into your first question of how did Field Fest come to be, but why did we decide to plan Field Fest in the way we have? And it's quite non-traditional. And in the nation, you don't see a lot of projects planned in this way. Usually when a host destination is awarded an event like this, it's very much that host destination centric. But I knew building the proposal and then being awarded the opportunity that I would needed the support of the greater region in Northeast Tennessee to make it a success, because Johnson City alone would not be able to produce what is going to be mounted, which is going to be incredible. Like, not only are we producing a mini conference, but also the association's first media marketplace with appointment style networking, and then 12 simultaneous familiarization tours throughout Northeast Tennessee and beyond. So it is quite a project, to say the least. And if I did not have the relationships with the partners all around Johnson City, we may have not received it, because that is what I proposed to the association. And what it's going to be is going to be something that this industry has not experienced before.
excellent. Are we at liberty to share who the partners are for Field Fest?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for asking. The registration and our landing place for Field Fest actually launched 2 days ago, and we're already seeing a lot of conversations and traction. And our biggest partner is the Tennessee Department of Forest Development. And then our subtitle sponsor is our Tri-Cities Airport here regionally that provides airlift service for not only Northeast Tennessee, but Southwest Virginia, Southeast Kentucky, and Western North Carolina as well. And then the list of our regional destination marketing organizations is extensive. And that's what I'm excited that this platform, which is this podcast, is allowing, is that each one is going to have a dedicated episode in this 9-part series. And Allie with Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association formally represents them all, but as our umbrella organization and regional leader. But her organization has been instrumental in providing their expertise, relationships, and knowledge, which has supported me in all of my work as somewhat of the ringleader of all these entities.
I would probably use the term instigator, but ringleader, that's fine. That's fine. Allie, I'm kind of curious, as the kind of the umbrella organization for travel destinations throughout the state, what is it like to, in some cases, corral small geographic areas, some counties, some towns, and bring them all together? I mean, Alec you can see the energy, and our listeners, you'll see the Alec's energy on our video, but how do you corral all these folks who have great ideas? They're really anxious to promote their destination, but how do you corral them in and get them to, like, think as a really a cohesive team as this is collectively what we're delivering?
Yeah, that's a great question, Howard. We're very fortunate in this industry and our regional partners to have such a united group of folks who are very excited to represent the region from Johnson City, Greenville, Bristol, Elizabethton, Kingsport. We just have this really, really awesome group of folks who are passionate about what they do. So bringing everyone together, I'm not going to say it's easy. It is a task being that umbrella that brings the unified voice to the industry. But everyone is so happy to be here, and each place has its own assets to market to the tourist or to the visitor. So I think coming together as Northeast Tennessee, as Alec has stated, we're able to collectively market and promote our region as one. We're welcoming visitors as a whole. We're excited that you're coming to see our area, and we work together to do that. It takes a team.
And that's where we become competitive, is being collaborative and not competitive with each other. Because a lot of the annual conferences for the association are in notable tier 1 destinations with, of course, beautiful outdoor offerings, but also facilities that you would expect in those destinations as well. And Johnson City, our region, we're blessed with what God gave us with these beautiful mountains and waters, but the facilities are not to what you would expect, nor should we have in a destination like ours. So everything we do is always capitalizing on the outdoors. And Johnson alone, Bristol by themselves, Kingsport by themselves is not as competitive as what we can be together.
Right.
And that's really what this project is signifying, is regional tourism marketing in the Southeast really is impactful because of projects such as this. And because we're coming together as small to medium-sized destinations, we can be competitive with tier 1 destinations that traditionally stand firm on their own.
Very good. I love that. I love that. Now, as far as Field Fest as an event, you touched on a little bit of it earlier, but Alec, can you describe what is the goal and objective around Field Fest? And before you start that replying to that, I know the number of that are going to be allowed to this event is going to be, there's going to be a limit. It's not like we can all go to our greater national event, but who are the folks? There's a certain amount of folks coming, but what is the intent of Field Fest for myself and my peers who are going to be coming to this event and taking advantage of visiting and getting to know this region?
Absolutely. Well, besides Johnson City, Northeast Tennessee becoming their favorite vacation destination,
of course,
and utilizing the content they discover in all their projects indefinitely for the rest of their careers.
And by the way, as a potential place to relocate, because I don't know, I think I may have shared, I'm looking.
Yes, Howard is looking to be our.
Howard wants to be.
Yeah, Howard wants to be our neighbor. And Howard, you're not alone in that space either. A lot of times our visitors like to stick around indefinitely. So, right. And we welcome that. And our expertise in the travel and tourism space are also support those who are also looking for their next relocation destination as well. So again, you're not alone. But Field Fest is a unique opportunity that OWAA has not offered before. And we spoke a little bit about how it differentiates from the annual conference, but specifically this is to be an intimate, very intentional gathering. Right now, and this changes on a case-by-case basis or demand from the membership or the budgetary capacity of the project. But right now, we plan on hosting 20 media members. So those members who have gone through the full vetting process of the association and have that classification of being active. So it is specifically for that membership type. And the first 20 that register with us at Field Fest, this is something that also differentiates from the annual. We are supporting them in some of their travel expenses. So each of those active media members will be reimbursed for up to $400 of their travel expenses. And then we treat them like the Queen of Sheba's when they arrive. We have coordinated all of their professional development. We feed them. We party with them. We transport them everywhere. We have 12 tours that they get to choose from. After the initial closure of registration, we'll be having a second round of tour signups. So each person will be able to experience 2 half-day tours and 1 full-day tour that's all across the Johnson City area. So that in itself is what makes it very distinct from the annual. Is we're going to be in school for a while, but then we're going to go on a lot of field trips and be rewarded for learning a lot, which again is different from the annual. And also this is going to be the first time that the association is having a media marketplace as well to connect media to brands that want to be involved with their work and in the outdoor industries as a whole.
Okay. I love that. And I am very proud to say that I will be attending. And I don't know if I told you, but this opportunity was posted, I think, accidentally on our website back in December. And I like snapped it up right away. And it's like, Howard, you're a little premature. We're going to give you a refund. Like, okay, whatever.
But Howard, I was so inspired by your passion, eagerness, and that is why Howard will be one of our notable workshop instructors at Field Fest. Let me see if I remember the title. It's like how to podcast your adventures. No, that's wrong. What is it?
It really involves around why every outdoor enthusiast needs to either host or be a guest on a podcast.
Yeah. But so like if you want to learn how to be a guest on a podcast series, so Allie and I should have probably taken this workshop in advance, although you can learn retroactively, or how to start your own podcast series. Howard is the expert and will be giving his workshop during Field Fest. So we're very excited to have him there.
I love it. And I do get to go on some tours, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you get to experience everything else that everyone else gets
I just had to
do.
make sure of that. I just needed to make sure of that. I mean, because I have a date with Ann to play disc golf.
Yes. So, and Howard has mentioned Ann. She is a rock star in Morristown, Tennessee, and they're very notable for Panther Creek State Park, which is going to be one of the full day tour options. And they're the world, what is it, Allie? The disc golf capital of the world or something like that.
Yes, Howard, you keep talking about disc golf, and we have courses in every city around here. There's some. I've got a whole list I'll send your way.
All right, I love it, and it's just I'm thinking it's exercise as well. Even though I live in Las Vegas, I have mountains around, but I still get to. I sit at a PC and coach and do podcasting, so this is a good chance to get some exercise in.
And just is the loudest and claims it the most. So I guess in that she's been the most successful in the disc golf world. But Howard, not to take over the podcast, but I did want to take some time to talk a little bit about what Johnson City has to offer and positioning it within Northeast Tennessee, and then allow Allie to speak more on that as well.
Alec, your timing is impeccable because that's
exactly
excellent. Where I was going to go. So I'm thinking we're in sync.
I was like, it's time to talk more about us and how great we are.
And I'm going to actually keep the audio portion in because it's live technically.
Yes.
Allie, I am curious, is within your region, Johnson City and the regional partners, who are the target visitors and outdoor enthusiasts? Do you have like a demographic you promote to?
That's a great question, Howard. We do have a demographic, and it can vary as we do campaign to campaign. Here lately, our demographic tends to run about 45 to 65 plus, and we have a lot of interest in the whitewater community in that demographic. Some yoga, paddleboarders, folks coming out here for the scenery. They like the scenic drives. But we are also targeting that younger demographic as well. You're 25 to the 44. So mountain biking is huge around here, and it continues to grow. We have 293 miles of the Appalachian Trail here in Tennessee. So we get a ton of folks just from all around the world hiking that trail. They're coming through town in Irwin. They're stopping to resupply and check out the river community. I mean, it's endless. There's just so much to do here in the outdoors. I could go on and on and on.
And it also brings back why this area, this corner of Tennessee is so unique is you literally could have almost any outdoor interest, hiking. I didn't even think about whitewater rafting, and mountain biking, fishing, disc golf.
Yeah.
But are there other interests beyond just the outdoor activity? Because family couples, they come to this region, they want to partake in whatever outdoor area of interest there are. But are there other types of visitors that come? Like, I'm a foodie. I love food. I love cooking. That's why you only see my chest up. But that was a joke. You're supposed to laugh, but that's okay. I had an interview last year, and this region had their wine trail, their brewery trail, their waterfall trail. But are there other areas of interest within the region that folks kind of they also want to visit and really explore and experience?
Absolutely. We have a huge foodie scene, Howard. And I don't know to break it down by city to city. Johnson City is a great place to start. There's tons of local mom and pop restaurants. We have Thai food, like some really great Thai food places. We just opened a new Thai food place right down the street from me. We have Red Maids with Mediterranean cuisine. There's so many places to eat and get out and shop. We have downtown shopping. A lot of our downtown spaces in our partner cities are expanding and they're revitalizing. So coming down here, you have Tennessee's oldest town in Jonesboro. There's storytelling. There's whiskey trails. There's just the list goes on of things to do here. The outdoors is a huge, huge asset and a draw to our region, but it's certainly not the only thing to do in our area.
Okay.
And
you had me at Whiskey Trail, but
to add a little bit, what Allie's saying is, yes, the outdoors are the predominant reason of why people come into Johnson City in the region. But I think it shocks people when they get here how much more that this destination has to offer. Specifically in Johnson City. Yeah, there's more up here. You're right, Allie. Tennessee does not stop at the Smokies in Knoxville. This quadrant of the state is becoming a true powerhouse and the outdoor mecca in the state of Tennessee and the Southeast. So again, the outdoors are big for us, but when people come here in Johnson City, they're pretty surprised at our food and beverage services that exist, our growing arts and cultural community. We have a lot of opportunities that are beginning to be grown in terms of our heritage, tourism, and historic sites. So really I'm always hesitant when I say this, when I say a destination is for everyone, because that's pretty commonplace and you hear it a lot. But truly in Northeast Tennessee, if you want to be in a rural, more sparse place, that option's for you. But if you want more of an urban feeling with those amenities and resources that you would that have become more notable in major metroplexes, then Johnson City is a great option for you, is having that city lifestyle and services, but then utilizing it as your hub and going out into the national, international hubs that exist within the greater region.
And I'll just add to that just a little bit.
Sure.
Alec makes a great point. Johnson City sits a little bit above 1,200 feet elevation. So folks can come here, they can shop, they can eat. And when they venture out to the mountains, we're an all season, all year destination. We have a little bit of fall, we got some winter, we got summer, and we have nothing too extreme. So people like to come here for the weather. Fall is a huge draw for folks. We have beautiful foliage here. So people can come and they can stay at this lower elevation, and then they can venture up to the higher elevations to find kind of the more extreme adventures if they're into that. So
I love that. And you said it, I believe at the onset of today's recording, is Johnson City is kind of like the hub for the greater region. And
I always say it's the quote unquote big city. We're about growing to 75,000. And for the Central Appalachian region, that is an urban hub. We are the New York City of Central Appalachia. We are the New York City of Central Appalachia. But when you have the greater perspective and understanding of the livability and tourism assets that exist outside of Johnson City, you understand how Johnson City has gotten that history and how it's continued to service the greater region, both for locals, but also those coming to visit us as well.
Okay.
And Howard, we're up to 2 lanes of traffic in some areas, and that's busy. That's
Really?
busy for us. A lot of folks come here to escape the crowd. And when you're sitting at a red light for more than 2 minutes, that's rush hour.
That's rush hour. Is as long as people don't honk you, if it turns green in Chicago, they honk like within a split second, like get going. I'm curious. This is probably a little bit more on a serious side with the region and promoting it as a destination. How do you promote folks with perhaps like physical disabilities, whether it's sight or access on trails? And let's say you need to be in a wheelchair, or it's nice to have a nice flat surface, okay? But if you're somebody who is perhaps confined to the wheelchair, but they're active. I mean, the folks who do the Chicago Marathon, when I live in Chicago, and the first part of the race that gets completed is folks in the wheelchair. So I'm curious how the region is supporting folks that have certain disabilities and accessibility issues. Allie, maybe you could touch on that.
Yeah. Howard, I would have thought we just paid you to say that.
I
Really?
wouldn't hear. Alec and Allie is, yeah.
Yeah, go in there, Allie. You start.
It's been such a recent topic of conversation is making sure we're promoting this as a welcoming destination for all folks from all types of life. And recently we launched the Tennessee Night Sky Trail, which is something I've worked with Alec on. And over 50% of those locations are ADA accessible. So we'll have, for instance, Bays Mountain Park is on there. That's one of our local state parks in Kingsport. And we've worked with the park rangers to determine what parts of that park are accessible. So we're not recommending folks to just go out there and be kind of lost for direction on where to start. We've actually reached out to these and tried to get that information ahead of time to share. Alec, are we able to share about the influencer?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Would you mind to talk a little bit about
Yes. Great.
You've heard it here first.
Yes, you heard it here first, people. So I met Corey Lee with Curb Free with Corey Lee at Gulf Shores this last annual where I met Howard, and he came up to me. He did a beautiful, prior to that, he did a beautiful keynote about accessibility in the outdoors. And his whole platforming brand is composing wheelchair accessible travel guides for his audience. And so that his keynote and his brand resonated very strongly with me. And so we are actually hosting him in Johnson City in Northeast Tennessee at the end of March to promote this destination to his audience. And Allie and I are currently creating a very thoughtful itinerary for his visit. And the anchors, some of the anchors to his itinerary is actually going to be these night sky trails. Allie undersold, as I did earlier. Actually, 8 of the 9 of these trails are accessible by wheelchair. So Corey is going to be able to go to many sites throughout the region, including one on the Appalachian Trail in his wheelchair, showcasing that no matter if you have any limitations of any kind, this destination is still for you.
Okay, very good.
And going out of, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to add, because this is really cool too. And, moving away from physical accessibility issues, the state of Tennessee at all their welcome centers have fall foliage viewers that assist those that experience color blindness see the fall colors. Oh, wow. So you can see from not only from Northeast Tennessee, but also at a statewide, accessibility is becoming at the forefront of our planning and promotion.
I love that. And it's so important that when we think about DEI, inclusion, access, it means a lot to different people. Okay. Yes. It's not just one size fits all. Now, another serious issue that, and I mentioned it when I did my intro into today's episode or any other episode, is the topic of conservation practices. So when visitors come to the locations in this region, and the destinations, and they want to partake, how do you help educate them and help them remain mindful or be mindful of, we need to leave no trace. We need to take care if we're going to go on a trail, if we're going to go somewhere in the woods, in the water. How are you helping the visitors kind of be aware of good practices?
Howard, if you don't mind, I'll hop in.
Okay.
This is my life's work and passion is in the field of conservation and protecting our public lands. So when we're in tourism, there is an important boundary there that we can bring balance to promoting and also promoting the conservation aspects. So you mentioned leave no trace. So Northeast Tennessee, for instance, we utilize our blog and our podcast, Meet Me in Tennessee, to kind of promote conservation alongside when we're bringing folks into outdoor recreate. So Leave No Trace is a huge part of our marketing efforts in our blog. So if we're recommending a list of waterfalls, we're going to equally recommend that you practice the Leave No Trace ethics. Another piece of advice I like to give for folks who typically don't participate in outdoor recreation but are eager to get into it is to research the types of terrain that you're going to be recreating. For example, mountain biking is on the rise in our area. And if you're not a mountain biker, you may not know that if it's raining outside, that you don't want to get on the trails because our volunteers put tons of hours into creating and developing those trails. And when you take your bike out there in the rain, it's going to leave large ruts that require more volunteer hours. So I think education, platform education, working with these influencers that have a large following and can help to inspire folks to practice conservation is key. I think barriers to access also can influence our conservation. We think of outdoor recreation, but there's not always a whole lot of talk around green space. Johnson City has ample city parks and green spaces. And this is also a way for folks who maybe can't venture off to the further away areas in our region. They can still participate in outdoor recreation right here in our cities. So I think barriers to access is a piece of the conservation puzzle. So.
Okay. Very good. Alec, you want to add anything to that, or?
This is really Allie's expertise, and that's why she is so pivotal in our regional development, is keeping that at the forefront. And I liked what Allie said, is that if one, again, has limitations, but still wants to connect with the outdoors, and they're in Johnson City, which again is a more urban environment, the city really prides itself in their planning and development of green spaces and parks. And in city limits, the city owns a mountain, and there's easily accessible hiking trails, the catalytic mountain biking infrastructure that really started the movement for the region. Tannery Knobs Mountain Bike Park is in Johnson City as well. So if one is only able to stay in Johnson City for one reason or the other, you can still do outdoor adventure. But we always encourage people, like, if you're wanting to go ATVing or whitewater rafting or waterfall chasing or really having really strenuous hikes, that's when that needed dexterity and strength is required. And that's when you have the abundance of opportunities outside of Johnson City in Northeast Tennessee. And Allie is absolutely right that in the work that we do, it's also our responsibility to encourage stewardship and appropriate usage of these natural resources, because that's what we prize as locals. And although we want to welcome as many people to our region, we also want to embrace people who respect our home and respect the earth in that way as well, so that we can continue to use it and all the visitors to come can continue to use it also.
Okay.
And I'll add just a little more to that. We're surrounded by lakes and rivers, Howard. That's another asset is our fly fishing and our kayaking and our paddleboarding. Whether you want to be on whitewater or you want the stillness of Watauga Lake or South Holston Lake. So we do have active local community members who get out there and organize local water cleanups. We have one coming up here in the next month on Watauga Lake. So I think when we're promoting these places, it's an equal share of promotion to our visitors and our locals, and just kind of bringing everyone together, like Alex said, to act as a steward. Because when we have visitors, if we're acting the part and showing people it's very important to protect these places, they're going to see that pride, and hopefully they'll pack in what they pack out.
I love it. I love it. And another aspect of the impact, and again, I heard this saying from another episode, is visitors coming to the region, they want heads in beds and they want cash registers singing. And I'm curious about the overall economic impact to this region, because earlier, late in the last century, there was a different types of industries in your region. And now those industries have slowly gone away or are going away. And the tourism dollar is so very important because it's a viable alternative. And collectively, Johnson City and then your regional partners, they're demonstrating, look, we can bring people here and it's going to have an impact on the community. Can Allie, perhaps you could start with the kind of the overall region, and then Alec, maybe Johnson City in particular. But what is the overall impact economic wise,
Yeah.
for with tourism?
I'm so happy that you asked. So, 2022, our economic impact of travel in Northeast Tennessee as a region is 841,164,100.
Wow.
And I
And
will just go ahead and say that we recently moved up as an industry as number one in the state of Tennessee. So prior to tourism, agriculture was
Mhm.
our number one industry, and tourism has taken up that number one spot.
Excellent.
and what I love about that development is that we kind of kiddingly said this earlier in the episode where there's more up here, which is the region's tagline. But prior to the pandemic, this region was often overlooked. And it took a catastrophic event to really propel us into a space where we have never been in, both in the visitation and relocation space. The, the pandemic highlighted that this is a region that is accessible, affordable, family friendly, and outdoor centric. And that is the trend in travel and tourism. That is what the people are looking for. And that is why an opportunity such as working with the association and producing Field Fest was the right time, and the stars aligned, and this was meant to be.
I love it. I love it. Well, I truly appreciate the breadth of this conversation. And I have to ask, Alec, I don't usually ask my guests this, but did we cover the points you were hoping we would cover? Or is there something else that we should be chatting about that we haven't yet?
Did you say Alec or Allie? They both sounded the same.
Alec
or either.
Either of you.
Oh, that's fair. This really has been a very beautiful conversation. I really loved everything,
Yeah.
but no, we were here just to launch off the amazingness that listeners can continue to expect from the rest of these episodes, and to invite the association to register for Field Fest, but also our just general listeners, like, come visit us. This is an area that is now discovered.
Yeah.
And there is so much opportunity here to enjoy oneself and be in an environment that's conducive to relaxing and connecting with your loved ones or individually that you don't find everywhere anymore. And this is in the state of Tennessee, this is becoming number one. In the region, it's a near $1 billion industry. And we are in that direction for even greater success in the future. And the outdoors is going to be a key in getting us there, and working together as this project is proving to be being very successful at doing as well. And moving forward, you're going to hear from our rest of our regional partners. And even outside of the region, we have entities from Southwest Virginia and the greater East Tennessee division, such as Visit Knoxville, who's hosting a post-fam for our visiting media after the formal Field Fest activities in our region. I'd be surprised if this inaugural event is not discussed or notated for years to come.
I love that. And Allie, I wanted to say something, but Allie, what would you like to add to what Alec just eloquently shared with us?
Yeah, Alec makes such a valid point that we are such a family-friendly destination. This Appalachian spirit of just welcoming all. I mean, it's like coming home. That's the best way I know how to describe it. And I can say that because I've been born and raised here, and I've traveled all around, and there's no place like the Appalachian Mountains. I did want to also add in, Howard, just the breadth of outdoor activities. It doesn't stop with our city and state parks and our local nature preserves. We have disc golf, mountain biking, hiking, backpacking, camping. There's a bouldering gym now here in Bristol. So there's access to rock climbing and bouldering, whitewater. It's just, there's so much to do within our region. And I would invite anyone to come out and experience it. And then on top of the shopping and dining and unique to our area eateries, there's just so much history here.
I love that. And I'm just very excited. Now, I want to, in the remaining time together, put you both on the spot. And
my favorite.
I'm the host, and I get to do that. Okay, it's my show. Let's talk Johnson City let's start with you, Allie. Actually, we're going to go back and forth. So your long lost friend that you met in college or somewhere out overseas, they're coming to visit with their family for a weekend. Same thing, Alec, for you.
Okay.
What would be your top 10 itinerary? More, it could be top 3, top 5, but we'll call it, what's the top 10 itinerary? Places to potentially sleep, food to eat. If you do one thing before you leave Johnson City, you got to do this. Allie, what would you offer?
Yeah, well, if my long lost buddy was here, I would definitely take them to Dos Gatos Coffee. I'm kind of a coffee connoisseur, not to
All
be confused
right.
with a coffee snub. I don't think I'm a coffee snub. But there's also Open Doors Coffee House. That's another great local spot. I really like to support our local spots here. So if they were going to come and look for lodging, I'd recommend the Carnegie Hotel.
Mhm.
It's a local boutique hotel that I feel like encompasses our Johnson City area well. And then I'd venture over to Jonesboro and I'd take them to a couple shops down there, check out the International Storytelling Center. And then there's also another really great coffee shop.
Allie, you and I are going to be bonding when I get there because I am a coffee snob. I roast my own, so I'm very picky about
No,
coffee. But I definitely would love to have a cup of coffee with you. So
that sounds wonderful. And I didn't know if you wanted me to list them all or if we're going back and forth.
that's fine. We'll keep going with it. Then this is giving Alec an opportunity to think, "Hey, what am I going to add?"
Well,
So
what's so funny is, Allie, you have surprised me in your answer because Allie is outdoorsy and I am outsidey.
okay,
So I like getting outside, not necessarily so much entrenched in the outdoors. And I think that's why I'm so good at selling Johnson City, because it really is that urban dot where the outdoors are accessible and appreciated, but we're not immersed in it. That's why the rest of our region is so beautiful, because it can cater to those kinds of visitors. But you gave such an outsidey answer that now I'm going to pretend that my outdoorsy biffle from big city. What?
I just had the coffee. My next step was to take my buddy up to Roan Mountain.
Okay. I thought we were getting. So I was like, Allie, this is like an hour itinerary, which is
I set you guys up. I didn't follow through with what my directions were, so I apologize.
That is our good. But see, like Allie started my itinerary, which is like eating and drinking in the downtown district of Johnson City, because that really is the foodie hub for the region. And then the nightlife hub, the arts, like a lot of arts and cultural activities happen in the district as well. But because I'm forced to be outdoorsy now because of Allie and my friend coming into town, some of my favorite extreme activities that I've done in the region are: one, I did on New Year's Day with a friend. I hiked up to the Unaka Mountain Beauty Spot in Unicoi County. It was also freezing cold and very dark. But when it's not cold and dark, that is one of the most notable vistas in Northeast Tennessee, hence the beauty spot. You get to see the mountain terrain from connecting from Tennessee to Western North Carolina. It's not a bad hike at all, especially during our warmer seasons. And Allie also mentioned Roan Mountain. There's Carver's Gap there, home to the largest collection of catalog rhododendrons. Is that right, Allie? Is that how you say it?
I think that's how you say it. I struggle with that word. Yeah.
There's a lot of pink. There's a lot of pink there. And then some other big adventure stuff: whitewater rafting on the Nolichucky River, mountain biking across the region.
We definitely get a mountain bike ride in at Tannery.
Yeah, but there's those. Again, this is not my itinerary. My friend is forcing me to do this, but I guess for whitewater rafting, hiking, Tannery, mountain biking.
So, Alec, I don't want you to feel slighted in this itinerary, because I am a foodie as well. So, first off, where is my go-to breakfast place in Johnson City?
So there is a very...
We don't want to piss anybody off, but...
No, but it's not too... Our local breakfast joints are still developing, but I do want to highlight the one that is historical and very local and is loved and is a dive bar, and many visitors actually don't know about it. It is the Pennyman's Diner. It is Southern breakfast to the extreme. So definitely that. And So, and then eating still in the downtown district, there's really a wide spectrum of opportunities from barbecue at Southern Craft, Americana at Label, Asian Mexican fusion at Juan Xiao. The list goes on and on and on. So I'm a foodie, but I love history and arts and culture. So we have some really prominent historic sites and museums, the birthplace of country, Smithsonian affiliate museum on State Street in downtown Bristol. So if you're a history buff, you'll love this region, especially Greene County and Greenville. Their like history is alive and well in Greenville. And in historic Jonesboro, that is a quaint town filled with 18th century history and storytelling, which for this association is key as well.
I love it. And so, I'm really excited sharing the destinations and the partners and what they're featuring. And now some of the must-go-tos when your family and friends come to visit. But I'm really excited about the stories that are going to be told by our members in the OWAA and then some about why this region is so amazing. I'm really excited about that.
And Howard, both Allie and I failed to mention the miracle that happened in Limestone, Tennessee, right outside of Johnson City. Kapiki, our beautiful baby giraffe, who is an international superstar, because is it a she, Allie? She, he, what is it?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that one up.
Kapiki is something. Excellent.
And we'll find it.
Yeah, let's go. But Kapiki is an international superstar. She is, I'm going to say Kapiki's a girl for the sake of this conversation, is a spotless giraffe, and that was born at a private family-owned zoo in Limestone, Tennessee. She was all the rage a few months ago, and now people from around the world are coming to Northeast Tennessee to come see Kapiki, because when she was born, she was the only known spotless giraffe in the world. Allegedly, they found one in Africa, so coincidentally 5 seconds later, but
she is a female.
Oh, right. Oh, right. She was giving me that vibe. So, but Kapiki is now the only spotless giraffe in the continental USA. So we can confidently say that, and it's right here in Northeast Tennessee.
Well, I'm really amazed, and I have a feeling Kapiki is going to take you over the 1 billion mark. So I'm no doubt about that.
We love Kapiki at Bright Zoo. Yeah, I can say a lot about that zoo, and then. Yeah, our list goes on and on. We have an active fossil site.
Yeah.
In the Appalachian Mountains as well, great fossil site, which is a key attraction for Johnson City and the region. So what's going on, Howard? We could have another hour of conversation.
It really does go on.
Yeah, not only another hour, but I'm thinking the conference maybe is not going on long enough. But
it's just a teaser.
It's an appetizer. It's like it's an appy.
Even though it feels like a feast while we're planning it, but I guess to everyone else, it'll feel like a teaser. And just more the reason for the media to keep in touch with us and all the partners they're going to meet so that they can continue collaborating with us for years to come. But also for our general listener, hopefully you're listening to this, you're going to see the stories that the association media members are creating, and that will inspire you to drive here, to book that ticket to Tri-Cities Regional Airport and really appreciate what is now becoming the shining star for the state of Tennessee.
I love it. Well, listen, I really want to thank you both. I'm very grateful one, that I get to partner with you both and the other partners, host partners for this series. I love doing podcast series because that's, to me, the true benefit of podcasting, especially within this travel space. And I really am so grateful to the two of you for basically leaning into this opportunity. So thank you for that. And thank you both for this first episode that we're going to publish, and just really sharing not only about Field Fest and the purpose, but also the inclusion of the host partners, and really to shine a light not only on the region, but also on Johnson City and even the places to go and eat and drink and have lots of good times. So thank you both.
Thank you, Howard. And I hope the OWAA members know if they're not here, they're missing out.
Yeah,
We're going
they
and you're
definitely.
going to miss Howard too. Howard's
They're
going to
gonna
be
miss
there
me
with
too.
us.
Trust, they're gonna have more fun. I'm a fun guy, but they're gonna have much more fun with you guys. But listen, before we head out, I just want to make sure if our listeners would like to learn more about the Field Fest, the Johnson City, the Northeast Tennessee Travel Association, where are the best places to go? Allie, let me start with you. Where should we send our listeners to if they would like to learn more about the region?
Sure. If you guys want to learn more, I'd recommend you check out northeasttennessee.org. We have an active blog on there with things to do, places to eat, and where to start your travel itineraries. Also, you can listen to our podcast on Spotify at Meet Me in Tennessee, and that's also available on YouTube.
Excellent. I didn't know you had a podcast. So wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Allie's,
good.
Allie's a
doing some
podcast
episodes today.
host.
Wow. It's like fantastic. So we should have a podcast just about podcasting. So I think we should do that.
Podcast squared.
There you go. Alec, how about where should we send the listeners to?
So if you want to learn everything there is to do, to see, eat, enjoy in really the hub of Johnson City, that mix of small town charm, big city amenities, but accessibility to the outdoors, really, visit johnsoncitytn.com, at Visit Johnson City TN across social media. And for our association members who are listening, look out on the OWA website, social media, your newsletters. You will be inundated with information because you will feel bad if you miss out.
There you go. No doubt about that. Listen, you two, I really, again, want to thank you. I'm so grateful we could spend this time together and really to kick off this inaugural episode for the podcast series. And again, really to learn more about you guys in the region. And I'm excited. I hope my peers at OWAA are excited as well. And I know our listeners are going to enjoy this too, because the power of podcasting, Allie, was these episodes get shared out to everybody's list. And that's where the growth grows, not only the podcast, but also brings more people into the region. And so we're gonna chip away at whatever economic goals you have through episodes like this. So again, the two of you, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, Howard.
Very good. Listen, stay in the line. We're going to do a real quick close, and then we can have a final chat, okay?
Great.
Awesome.
All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful episode. This is, oh my God, we're past the 55-minute mark, which is, I like to talk, but when you have great guests like Allie and Alec, I mean, this is lots of great information. And for my peers at the OWAA, I am sure that this episode is going to entice you to want to sign up and join in at the inaugural Field Fest this coming July, hosted in Johnson City, but also the other partners who are participating in this event as well. We're going to have, at least right now, our count is about 8 different episodes highlighting or showcasing one of the regional partners. So we're very excited. And really, we learned a lot about the intent of Field Fest and really the why this region of the country, this region of Tennessee is so important and really is integral to not only the economy, but also to the access to adventure for anyone who has an interest not only in outdoor activities, but also urban activities and just a quieter lifestyle, but also kind of that urban feel, but access to great nature. And I think Alec had shared that. And I think Johnson City is now going to be back it's on my top 10 list of potential next places to live. I think that's great. Do go out and visit the Visit Johnson City website. We're going to provide backlinks to it as well as to their social site. And we're also going to provide the backlinks to the Northeast Tennessee Travel Association's website and social sites as well, and also to a link to their podcast. So that's wonderful. Now, as for us, you can find this episode. This will be published beginning in March. When you hear this episode, it should be March on the outdooradventures.com. You can find us also on LinkedIn and Facebook on the Outdoor Adventure Series pages. We'll have the video of this episode up on YouTube. We are also on Instagram and of course, wherever you listen to your podcast, you just need to search for the Outdoor Adventure Series. Now, after you listen to this episode or any other episode for that matter, we love likes, comments, and shares because we want to know what you thought of the episode, and hopefully someone in your life will want to learn more about what you've just listened to. Okay, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a phenomenal day, and we look forward to having you join us on a future episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Take care now. Hey, folks, this is Howard. Guess what? We were just finishing up our close. I was having this great chat with Allie and Alec, and Allie reminded Alec, hey, we didn't touch on a particular and very important topic. So before we headed out for our Friday, and it's almost 5 o'clock somewhere, Allie and Alec are back, and they have another feature within this region that really is going to be very interesting to some of our outdoor enthusiasts. So, Allie, why don't you kick us off there?
Yeah, thanks for having us back on so soon, Howard. Among our outdoor adventures here in Northeast Tennessee, we're surrounded by scenic drives in the area. And I'll kind of pass it over to Alec to talk about the Southern Dozen Trails.
Yes. And Howard, I think your audience would have demanded we do this additional feature because we're their number ones already. So thank you to you both for allowing us this extra minute. But the Southern Dozen, as Allie alluded to, is capitalizing on our scenic roads throughout Northeast Tennessee and beyond. And that is a motorcycle and car enthusiast brand that we manage here at Visit Johnson City. It's a series of 13 rides that begin and end in Johnson City. And we provide complimentary services for you to know what to do, see, and eat along the way, and navigate them with our complimentary print and digital resources. So the motorsports culture is huge in Northeast Tennessee. Johnson City is notable nationally as being a very motorcycle-friendly destination. So if you don't feel like riding a bike or walking or being on a raft, many people choose just bring their motorcycles to the region and go riding. And we actually have a lot of big rallies that come into the region in Johnson City because Johnson City has those foundational infrastructure and facilities to support larger groups, but then they're going out into the region doing everything we just discussed, but by way of a motorcycle or car.
I love that. And I do have to ask, car, that's pretty easy to navigate. Motorcycle, I'm at the age where there's things I'm just not going to do anymore. Yes. Are there motorcycles with a little sidecar?
Oh, always. And you can do the Southern Dozen on 2, 3, or 4 wheels. And if you want to do it on a unicycle, that sounds kind of dangerous, but we are very inclusive here, so go at it.
I don't want to do it on that, but if it requires navigating roads, especially ones where I have to physically, I've never really been on a motorcycle. Okay, I have to spill my guts right now. I've never fished, by the way. Okay, so I am hoping to join in on one of the events, and I'm going to learn how to fish.
Yes, there's going to be fishing tours on Watauga Lake and South Holston Lake as a part of Field Fest. So we need to get you on one of those.
I am going to be on one of them, and if you can find somebody that has a sidecar and a motorcycle, I'm all in. Okay.
We're gonna give you the full experience.
Yeah, okay. But thank you, Allie and Howard, for giving us this moment again, because motorsports is big here and really a part of our DNA of what makes this region so special. Bristol Motor Speedway is just outside of Johnson City.
I've heard of Bristol, yeah.
So the last great Coliseum, the world's fastest half mile. I can't believe we forgot about it. I'm sorry, Bristol Motor Speedway.
And one more I'll mention that's on the rise, Howard, is dirt bikes, the dirt bike scene. We have some areas around here like the OWAA Mountain Recreation Area for ATV and dirt bike enthusiasts. So it's really endless. We could go on and on, but I think that covers it.
And I definitely am going to need a recommendation for a real estate broker. So, but that's a whole other conversation.
But yeah, just to end our second conversation together, really, Howard, if you're a history buff, a foodie, an arts and cultural enthusiast, we have a robust public art scene, touring Broadway now in Johnson City.
Yeah.
You're an outdoor enthusiast. We really do have it all. Man, we really are. We really are great, Allie. Everyone should want to be here. Okay, we're done.
I totally agree. I'm like, I'm going up on the sites after we're done here and start to look in more detail. Listen, you guys, it's been a pleasure once again to have you on the podcast, and I'm excited that we were able to learn a little bit more about with the Southern Dozen, and looking forward to partaking in whatever you have planned with us in that part of the adventure at Field Fest in July. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, folks, that is definitely it. So once again, visit us on our websites. We're going to have all this in the show notes, so no worries there. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, do go out there, have a phenomenal day, and we look forward to having you join us on another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Take care now. Thanks again to Visit Johnson City and regional partners for collaborating on this podcast series.